Welcome to Half Full and a Cup of Joe with Joe Fulford, the show that's always overflowing with optimism and caffeine. Joe's got his game face on and his coffee cup full, ready to dive into the world of football. From the Florida Gators to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and beyond to college and NFL football, Joe's got the analysis, the insights, and the passion to get you pumped up and ready for the game. So sit back, relax, and fill up your cup with Joe. And now from West Des Moines, Iowa, here is Joe Fulford.
Okay. Oh boy, you gotta have a little bit of that music, to get you all pumped up a little bit. Irregardless of what happened over the course of the past few days, and I gotta tell you, the past few days have not been pretty. Especially you're a Gator or a Buck, and have to say that this has not been one of the best weekends in sports, both from the East and the West Coast per se. Witnessing a shellacking unlike any other, both in the swamp and also out in SoCal, where both the Gators and the Bucks, they went down, and they went down hard. Make no mistake about it. Glad you could be with me on this third special Tuesday night edition of Half Full and Cup of Joe, brought to you by the fine people of. I gotta work on a sponsor. Maybe I can enlist somebody to help me with that. Anyways, we gotta work on that. But anyways, glad you could be with me, and on behalf of all the hardworking people here working at Half Full and Cup of Joe, want to take this opportunity to wish you all a happy Thanksgiving, and I'm sure that you got people going to eat a lot of turkey. So much to get into, so much to talk about. Where do we begin? As always, with the boys in blue. For the Florida Gators, they return home for the first time in a month to face the Tennessee Volunteers, a matchup unlike any other. Now, you would think the Florida Gators would be pumped up, ready to play. They've been out on the road for a month. They're ready to come back home. They're playing in front of their home crowd. What do? They lay Gator eggs more than you could ever imagine. I'm talking Gator eggs. It was so bad that maybe the movie of my love life might have been a better showing than what the Gator team had last Saturday night. 31-11. Was the final score in the game that was just horrific by every stretch of the word. And what a nice segue. No, I can't say that about Ludy. I mean, Luderman is a great guy. He's not horrific. I mean, I'm sorry about that, James. I have no idea where I was coming from,
That hurt. That hurt right here, buddy. It hurt right here.
But you know what? But you know what? I do have some good news for you, because also joining me on this edition of Half Full of Cup of Joe is a man who has gone missing in action for the past few weeks. A man that was so deep in the bowels of Gainesville, working his horses, trying to come up with all the news and notes that he can, and he's finally come out for some air for a little bit. He's very happy to join me tonight. Loren Meadows!
What's up? Yep, I'm up in here, man. It's been a long time, man. It got tight for a minute. Softball, man. I'm doing too much, man. I'm too old to be running around and things, and so I had to put it on hold. And then my girl Kelly Ray Finley, the basketball team, start chopping it up, man, for first few Thursdays. Shout out to them. They went 5-1. Probably dropped one they shouldn't have at Navy. They were without Liv McGill, who's obviously one of the top point guards in the country. And then, but play without her last night at Florida Atlantic before they head over to the Cayman Islands for a nice tournament over the Thanksgiving holiday. So doing well, man. Both teams with just one loss right now. So basketball is looking up, man. But I heard you talk about that football, man. I don't know, bro.
Oh my gosh, 31-11 was the final score, and
could have been worse.
It could have been
far worse.
A very disastrous event. I mean, I think the showing of the Animals Love Life on the big screen might have been a better entertainment than what we saw on the field at last Saturday night, because it was downright pathetic. And as we go into this, Lauren, I'm of the thought here. I do not see any coaches returning, whoever is going to be the new head coach.
You know, I thought for a second, I had a list of people, I thought maybe like a guy like Jabbar Jalouk, obviously Mike Peterson with his connections to the area, a guy like Billy Gonzalez, who's as good a receiver coach as you could find. And then maybe even Steve Spurrier Jr. with the connection to Lane and some of that stuff. But it's going to be interesting. I think there's some support people that have really done a nice job. I think Katie Turner in the recruiting space has really elevated Florida, and I think she'd be a good keep. But yeah, man, it's going to be interesting. I don't know. I mean, it's funny nowadays with social media. These guys do know each other. They know a lot about each other. Obviously, there's some cross-pollination between the Napier folks and the Kiffin folks because of Alabama and things like that. So it'll be interesting. I'm interested to see. And I think even Lane, and I could be wrong, but I always thought that they had way too many people, and James can correct me if I'm wrong. There are a lot of people in a Jordan shirt, man, and I was like, what do they do? And what I mean by what do they do? I know they have a role, but how do they contribute to winning? So does Lane keep that many support staff running around? Does he have that? That's one thing I'm gonna do tonight, maybe before my show or after my show, to have it for next week if we get a named hire, is I want to go and see if Lane has the same amount of support staff and things like that. I know it's growing because, like, for instance, Alabama softball has like 15 people on staff compared to like 9 or 10 to some of the other. So I know staffs are growing in different areas and things like that. But it'll be interesting to see if you have that many people with a Jordan shirt running around this time next year.
Go ahead, James.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm still going back and forth. Excuse me. I'm still going back and forth on the Lane Kiffin thing. 1 minute, it looks great and it's easy and everyone's like, yes, absolutely. I think LSU's still in the mix. In fact, I think they're probably the top contender at this point. Right underneath them is Florida. Because here's the thing, both of the programs though have a lot of similarities right now. Both are in a place where they need a complete rebuild. I think the only difference is you're going to have more support going to Florida than you will possibly at LSU because of the whole governor situation. Like, does Lane Kiffin even want to be involved in that? And if you were to ask me last week when we talked about this, if I 100% thought Lane Kiffin was going to stay in Ole Miss, I would have said, I'm not 100%, but I'm pretty close. But then they came out with the statement this past week of, oh, well, he's going to make a decision after the Ole Miss Mississippi State game, and we'll see what happens with the college football playoff, which those rankings just got released a few moments ago. They actually dropped down a spot. They're number 7 now. So Oregon took the 6th spot from them. So right now, as it stands, if everything were to end today, which it won't be this way, but Alabama would play Ole Miss in the first round of the college football playoff it would be at Ole Miss, which would be insane, by the way. So there's a lot to that. If I'm Lane Kiffin, I've taken Ole Miss from practically a nobody. I mean, Ole Miss was okay, They haven't been relevant before Lane got there since probably 08, 09. The year they beat Florida, I think, was the last time they were really relevant. Maybe a little bit here and there, a couple of years where they've had some decency, but consistency has been the key for Lane Kiffin, and so I think that's what attracts people to him as a head coach and as a person. He's grown so much in just, thinking about all of the different places that he's been a part of, right? He was with Tennessee, things didn't go well. He was with Alabama as an assistant, did very well, and then we know the rest from there. So, listen, I think if Lane does commit to coming to Florida or even to LSU, I think he's going to have a very specific set of coaches, especially if he goes to Florida. I don't see any reason why, he couldn't have multiple people, especially because Alabama does, to your point, Loren, Alabama does a lot of that. They have, you look in that Nick Saban room with all the coaching, you've got Nick Saban, the coach, but then you've got this, and this guy who does all of these different things. So, I mean, it's kind of wild to see. I mean, there's assistant coaches for the assistant coaches.
Yeah, that's right.
It's wild.
And I think you'll have that. What I'm talking about is the director of imaging and creativity, the AI person, I'm still like, okay, AI, how does that? I mean, I coached a lot of good football in my life.
Don't even get me started on AI. I don't even understand.
Yeah, well, somebody still needs to tell me how that helps you win football games. But I digress. I mean, I agree, and James put it right on, and I agree. I was going to say, you hit it on the nail with that governor. The only thing that I think people lose sight of, and I think when you look at LSU and Florida at face value, it's very similar. I agree. Mm-hmm. But I think when you look at the state of Florida versus the state of Louisiana, the two are not the same. You talk about the governor, you just talk about different situations. And I'm like James, I really don't know. I'm in wait and see mode. If you ask me to say one way or the other, I would be 50-50. I mean, James, I'm going to say it on my show. Or excuse me, Animal, I'm going to say it on my show, so I might as well give you first crack at it. And James, you may have heard there was a situation which I can't believe Florida would go down this route, and we can debate this. But I guess little situation with the general manager that Florida said they would hire the general manager and then hire, and if Lane comes, but they would have the general manager in place, which unless you're going to overhaul the entire football operation, then why would you do that? I know Stanford has done that and a lot of other places. Go ahead, James.
Yeah, let me cut off James here for just a minute. Let me tell you what I've heard. The story that I'm hearing through my sources, through Half Full Cup of Joe tonight, is that when Lane Kiffin and his people were meeting with University of Florida officials, it's being reported on the back end that the Florida Gators were to be the ones to hire the GM, not Lane Kiffin, the head coach of the Florida Gators. Now, apparently, this has set off alarm bells within the Lane Kiffin camp, from what I understand. What I can tell you here tonight, from everything that I'm reading through X and everything like that, is that the tide is starting to turn a little bit towards Lane going to LSU. It's not confirmed. It's not going to be confirmed till Lane makes that announcement Friday, or is it Saturday?
They say that. I don't even believe that.
No,
I don't even believe that deadline.
No, especially if they make the college football playoff, you're not going to hear nothing until after that. Until after.
Well, no, yeah. They say that Lane's going to have to make a decision.
That's what they say, but do we know that the AD came out and publicly said that, the president of Ole Miss? Do we have that on record?
I know. I have seen reports come out saying that Lane was going to make a decision
right, but
the day after the Egg Bowl.
But who said that?
I think it was the AD.
Okay, then we'll find out. Yeah. Okay, then we'll find out. because they ain't gonna let it. Yeah. Okay. So if the AD did, then we're gonna find out. And maybe he's in Baton Rouge or Gainesville Saturday.
Well, hold on. Let me read this real quick, Animal. Yeah, let me read this real quick because this is from Keith Carter, who's the Vice Chancellor for Intercollegiate Athletics. He's basically the AD.
Yes,
at this point.
Go ahead.
Coach Kiffin and I have had many pointed and positive conversations regarding his future at Ole Miss, including meeting today with Chancellor Boyce. While we discuss next steps, we cannot lose sight of what is most important, our 6th rank, now 7th, that is poised to finish the regular season in historic fashion. Despite the outside noise, Coach Kiffin is focused on preparing our team for the Egg Bowl, and together we want to ensure that our players and coaches can concentrate fully on next Friday's game. This team is on the cusp of an unprecedented season, and it's imperative they feel the support of the Ole Miss family in the week ahead. And this is where it is. An announcement on Coach Kiffin's future is expected the Saturday following the game.
So that's the story that I heard. Which confirms the story that Coach Lane Kiffin was given an ultimatum. Say what you will, but by Keith Carter making that announcement says that yes, he's being given an ultimatum.
I'm gonna tell y'all something right now. If I'm Lane Kiffin, that all that does for me, and if I'm Ole Miss, all that says to me, all I read out of that is Lane Kiffin's gone. There is not one thing in there that says to me Lane Kiffin is committed to Ole Miss. Like there's not it's through the fluff and all this stuff. Because here's the thing.
No, absolutely.
If Lane was staying, he'd tell you he was staying. He has not said anything, and I think that's on the advice of not only the vice chancellor, but I think in his camp to say, hey, listen, we don't want to jump the gun here because you could be getting some really big time money. If I'm his agent, I'm not saying nothing until after the college football playoff's over. I'm not saying anything until I absolutely have to, because at that point, that's when the money's going to start showing up, and Lane Kiffin's going to be one of the highest paid coaches in college football.
And speaking of the money, I don't know where I read this, but I heard that. But I read something where Ole Miss has upped their ante a little bit to try and get Lane.
I heard that.
To stay. And I don't know if that's confirmed or not. But even if you've heard it, then it must be true.
I have heard it. I've heard it. Actually, Rob Browne talked about it on their show. I did hear it there originally. That there is conversation that Ole Miss would match whatever was offered to him. But again, if I'm looking at this from an outside perspective, which I am, there's nothing that shows me any confidence in anything that anyone has said that Lane Kiffin is going to stay at Ole Miss. He's going somewhere, whether it's LSU or Florida. I don't see him this time next season being the head coach at Ole Miss. I might be wrong, but I just went based on everything I've read and seen, and Lane Kiffin not saying, I think he's gone.
I mean, nothing would surprise me. Nothing would surprise me. And here's the thing. If he stays at Ole Miss, I wouldn't blame him. If he goes to Florida, I wouldn't blame him. If he goes to LSU, I'd blame him. And it's because of what James just said.
Yeah.
I would not deal, and I'm going to keep it real, man. I'm a good card-carrying liberal. But I would not, liberal or not, I would not mess with that governor. I would coach at Florida. They got a conservative governor. I would coach in Ohio. They got a conservative governor. But I would not mess with that governor one bit. And it's not because of the fact that whatever his politics are, he's just a loose cannon. And I'm not going to go and lose a game in the SEC and have this dude analyze, because here's the thing. You analyze my job as football coach, I'm going to analyze you as the governor of one of the poorest states in the country. So we going to do this back and forth? That's my thing, man. Are you going to let your coaches coach? Because here's my thing, and I'll bet you guys this. Lane Kiffin, Brian Kelly, Ed Orgeron, Nick Saban. Would you think if any of them coached at LSU that governor's going to keep his mouth shut once the coach is hired?
100%.
Well,
he ain't saying a word.
You don't think he would say anything?
I think if Nick Saban gets hired, that's
I don't even think that. I think he gonna chime in no matter what.
I'm
You let Nick lose 2 games, he be on that butt.
Speaking of which, of a governor, at the game Saturday night in Tennessee, Governor Ron DeSantis was at the game as well.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
he's at Ole Miss too, by the way.
Okay, so
you don't think he's not pitching to Lane Kiffin right now?
James, hang on just a second. With his appearance at Ole Miss and Florida, do you know if DeSantis or his people have been reaching out to the athletic department in any way, shape, or form, or even talking with the interim president? Do you know?
Here's the thing. Okay. Well, I don't know. Here's the thing is, yeah, I think he's, hey Lane, how you doing? Good to see you. Would love to see you in blue and orange. I think that's as far as it goes.
Right.
I think it, and let's face it, in DeSantis, and hey man, it's called politics. We coming up on that cycle, and DeSantis wants to be president. So I think he's getting out, shaking hands, kissing babies, which is what you're supposed to do. I don't care who you. That's what you're supposed to do if you want to be president.
Yep, so that's true.
And I'm sure you just, because there's a lot of people that are going to be in play when this thing. But yes, I think he went to Lane and said, "Who love to get 15, 10."
Well, not Lane, not so Lane. I'm talking about.
No, he ain't messing with. No,
I mean, I guarantee to have a conversation.
Here's what I know about Scott Strickland. Regardless of, he ain't trying to hear from the governor.
No,
he ain't trying to hear from him. No, I mean, if Spurrier is hands off, like the rumor about, somebody called me and said Spurrier was in Oxford. I said no, he wasn't. He wasn't anywhere near Oxford that night. I was there.
Interesting.
He wasn't there, and he came out and said he wasn't there. So if Spurrier and some of those people are not overly involved, then yeah, I mean,
Loren, what was the game Saturday night was an abomination. I mean, there's no doubt about it. It was probably the worst.
That's a word.
Game it's probably the worst game I can recall ever in watching this Buccaneer team play.
You mean
the Florida Gators. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Well, it was probably the worst. It was probably the worst game the Bucs played.
Yeah, the Bucs didn't look great either. Y'all get to that when I get off.
We're going to talk about that here in just a minute. But what was the reaction in Gainesville over the past 24, 48 hours after that loss? I mean,
I think people are just done, man. It's like just shoot me now. Like, take me out of my misery, man. I'm a wounded dog. My leg don't work. My tail crazy. I can barely get outside to go use the potty. I'm just shoot me now. And that's what it was. It was like, I cannot believe, hey, that guy's got a lot of work to do tonight. But I cannot believe that I am here at a Tennessee-Florida game. And I mean, it just was, and I mean, like I said, it could have been worse. Josh Heupel's a good dude, and I think he likes Billy Gonzalez, and I love Josh Heupel. He called the dogs, and thank God the streak. I said, is the streak going in tonight? At least they let us score a few little points, but it was about as bad. I mean, we didn't do nothing right, and I can't say. You just, I mean, this is a team that is packed in, and like James said, I used to really have faith in some of these. I don't know what's going on there now. I don't know what they're doing during the week
and for Ron Roberts, the worst defensive coordinator I have ever seen in my life. I mean, this guy does not know how to change defenses to make it better. I mean, I truly believe that Ron Roberts is trying to sabotage this team. I really do.
Well, it's lame duck. It's lame duck. They're all lame duck. They're all lame ducks. Ain't nothing to sabotage. None of them will be there. And, Ron Roberts is Ron Roberts. I mean, at this point, and someone asked me, well, I look forward to your articles. I said, it's very hard to write about a lame duck coach and a lame duck offense and a lame duck defense and maybe a lame duck quarterback. So what am I going to say? They're not very good. They have very little situational awareness. The next time we run a pressure on defense that actually can get to the quarterback will be the first time. I mean, it's just bad football, and it is. When you got guys that have never played the game, and I'm like, you're spot on about that. You're right. It's just not very good football right now. It's just not. And they have the athletes they have deserve better. They do. Yeah, they do. Yeah. They deserve better.
Well, we have somebody better here. Besides, we have somebody just as good as the rest of you guys. Rob Browne of SEC Inside, who just munched on a pizza that
main man
I left for him in the green room, joins us in this edition of Half Full and Cup of Joe. You've been listening to all this talk here, the noise from the outside and other states like Auburn and all that. I mean, this was horrible. It sounded nuts. I said it was an abomination. I don't know what word I can stretch to make it worse, Ron. I mean, this was horrible.
Well, look, Hugh Freeze has looked like he's been out on a 3-day drunk the whole time he's been at Auburn.
My God,
he looks horrible, and I think there's I think there's a little. He looks like Uncle Billy on Leave It to Beaver.
Yes.
Look, Auburn has been in the same deal. Just a garbage barge out in the Atlantic, and nobody wants it to come ashore. And in the case of Florida, you got the number 9 ranked roster in the country, and in the case of Auburn, number 11. Both coaches should have been fired for cause. Yeah, how we got the tail wagging the dog, and I cite as 3. My counsel would come in and say, I cite 3 reasons for your termination, Mr. Napier. Lack of player development, specifically at the quarterback position. Number 2, a cluster fudge, you know what I'm talking about, of disorganization. And number 3, you don't know come here from Sikkim when it comes to running an operation like Florida Gator football, which is one of the best run traditionally outfits in the country. From 1989 to 2009, Florida was the winningest program in college football. And you basically burned the car up. You took the car out without asking your parents' permission, ran it out of gas with 4 bald tires, and it caught on fire on the side of the road and left the scene of an accident. Same thing with Hugh Freeze. Hugh Freeze the offensive staff meetings for Hugh Freeze looked like the bar scene in the original Star Wars movie. It was horrible. Mm-hmm. Those guys were so incompetent and so ineffective. They should have been fired for cause. I mean, it is absolutely disgraceful that the only way they can fire you for cause is if you're caught with a farm animal or God only knows. I don't know how they do it. But if you lose games, you don't develop players, and you recruit poorly, and you're disorganized, and you don't know what you're doing, that's typically how we get fired in our jobs. I'll just leave it at that. Hey, there's James.
So, let me ask a question to these guys, because and you as well, Animal, because this is something that he brought up. I think is very interesting. 1989 to 2009, again, winningest college football program, right?
Yeah. After
Urban Meyer leaves, you've got 4 guys now that have been head coaches at the University of Florida.
Yeah.
So when do you, and I love Strickland to death. I'm not saying he's a bad AD or anything like that, but when do you evaluate your program and say, okay, we brought in 4 coaches now. None of them have done particularly well, except for maybe one. They made it to the SEC championship in 2020, had a good team. They had Kyle Trask. I mean, that team was kind of just a one-off, right? So when do you look at this as an AD and go, maybe it was just us not doing our due diligence and getting the right guy, not a name, but the right guy to come in here and fix this program? When do you do that?
Let me address that.
I gotta go. Can I chime in before I go? Sorry.
Go. Yeah, I know you gotta go. Go ahead.
Here's the thing. I think that in this world of political correctness. What Florida has done is try to get a guy that checks all the wrong boxes. Okay? You want a Christian man. You want a family man. You want a recruiting man. You want a let me see what else. Players like man. But what
Player
you're not
coaches,
getting is a football man. And what I mean by that is somebody that at the end of the day, like a Urban, like a Spurrier, hell, even Ron Zook in some ways, and Mullen even to a point, that understood you are judged by 12 Saturdays a year.
Yeah.
Winning ain't everything. It's the only thing.
Exactly.
All that other stuff is fluff. Fluff, fluff, fluff.
Yeah.
And until all the powers that be understand that, Florida is on their way to being Nebraska. I've said it for 2 years, James. I mean, Animal, you've heard me. If Florida does not get the right person, they will be the team who probably, just like Nebraska, probably let Frank Solich go too early. Florida, not understanding the changing landscape. It's crazy how many calls. I don't care whose high school you think we're going to get. I don't care. You know why? Because in the new landscape, you don't have to recruit high school players anymore. The coach you're trying to get has shown you that. Dan Mullen would have been very creative. He was very successful in the transfer portal, would have been very successful at going out and getting the right people in this landscape had they given him the same resources that they gave Billy Napier, because Dan was going to go get football players, not necessarily people that fit the whole thing. The fluff is what's going to hurt this football team. Until they get away from the fluff and hire somebody that understands X and O's situations, Nebraska. And I got to check.
So before you check out, talk about your show real quick. Who you got on tonight?
So tonight on the Lowdown with Loren Meadows, every night, Tuesday night at 9 o'clock, every Tuesday night, excuse me. We had this guy right here, Rob Browne of SEC Sidelines, the Ed McMahon of this thing, always ready to roll. Tonight we got Ben Troop with his monthly installment of What's Got Troop Tripping. And
you gotta get me him. I gotta
get you two guys. I gotta get you Buddy and I gotta get you Ben. But I got you. And then we got a young buck. Guess we call him an intern or a young study, Lucas Messamore, who's
I saw him last
week. Getting his chops in front of the camera, but just really wants to. Where I spoke to his class at Santa Fe College, and just wants to really get into the mix, get in front of the mic. So, but catch us every, and then we're going to do a little hyper have at it Thanksgiving style, where we're going to break down overrated or underrated Thanksgiving dishes. So
there you go. We'll look forward to it.
Have a little fun tonight.
I'll watch as soon as I get off, and I'll come on the show anytime.
And happy Thanksgiving to your viewers. Yes,
Lauren,
sir.
I'll be there in just a minute. One other thing, you're saying Florida will be the next Nebraska. Auburn's looking more like Indiana too. One hell of a football program, now a basketball school.
Yeah,
and we'll talk more about that later.
Yes, sir.
I did
see y'all in a bit,
Auburn
man.
won last night. Florida Gators win. That's
basketball, no doubt. Yeah,
right,
hooping.
See you in a minute, man.
All right, buddy.
Yep, there you go. All right. That's Loren Meadows. Thanks, Loren, for joining me. Appreciate it. And Loren Meadows joining me on this edition of Have Fun with Cup of Joe. He is James Luderman. He is Rob Browne of SEC Sidelines Live, joining me on this edition of Have Fun with Cup of Joe. Here's what I'll say about Scott Strickland. And yes, has Scott made the right hires? No. Has he made his best attempt? There's questions about that. Here's what I'll say, though. He has made an effort to rebuild these facilities and get them up to speed. A new indoor training facility, They have a new weight room and all. I mean, they really have done a good job at building a new athletic complex and all that with the facilities and everything. But Lauren's right when it comes to coaching. Strickland has not been great at this, and I got to think that this is probably the most important hire of his tenure as the head coach of the Florida as AD at Florida. And Ron Brown, I don't know if he's going to have a job once this new president gets elected.
Well, first off, I'll say this. Lane Kiffin, a few years ago at Ole Miss, they were going to do a $350 million.
I can hear you.
Yeah, $350 million renovation. And James, you remember that of Vaught Hemingway Stadium?
Mm-hmm.
They raised $350 million in cash. Okay. And he said, hold on a second. Let's put that into NIL and getting better players. Lane Kiffin could jump into the high school recruiting ranks and be a top 5 recruiter. You know he could. But like Yancey Porter from Rebel Yell Hotline said on our morning show Sidelines this morning, he said he's not going to put $25 million worth of asses on the bench of NIL money for the future. He wants players that can come in and help now. And he's going to do some high school recruiting. And as far as Strickland goes, he's a day late and a dollar short. You build the Hebner Center, big ass deal. Auburn builds the Wolzolt Center, $92 million, big ass deal. It's nice. My friend, Jan Cowart designed it. It's a great project. I mean, it's beautiful. But I'm saying you got to go get players in the NIL. And I talk to people that run collectives, and I'm sure y'all do too. Holy cow. Some of these coaches, the things that you don't know about them, how many of them are hard drinkers that are just slugs, and they know they can't be fired. You can't keep doing this as a collective, James. There's got to be some sanity instead of the tail wagging the dog. But Strickland, Yancey pointed this out. Why would Lane Kiffin want to go to Florida, as Yancey Porter said this morning, when Scott Strickland is the one who gave his brother, Chris Kiffin, the show cause when he was at Mississippi State? He turned them in and banned him from college coaching for a while. I don't see Kiffin. Why? There's no love lost with those guys. And I never understood.
I did not. Wait. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
Go. I want to hear more about this.
I didn't actually know that.
Yeah, but
please go in more into this.
Okay, I don't mean to be hogging it. I want James's thoughts. James is okay, but
you're good.
Yancey Porter talked about that this morning on our SEC Sideline show with Brendan Martin and me, and he said that there's no love lost between Kiffin and the Kiffin family and his brother Chris and Scott Strickland. And he said, and this is what Yancey said, that Scott Strickland was the one who got a show cause penalty put on Chris Kiffin and banned him from coaching for a while. That was Yancey Porter, Rebel Yell Hotline talking about. And that, as they say in the Deep South, that ain't nothing.
No. And for our audience, explain what is a show cause.
Well,
or a show clause. What's an example? I mean,
well, it means you just you're banned from coaching. You were banned for cause. Okay. He was accused of whatever at Ole Miss. I mean, it's a legal term, but I'm telling you, Lane Kiffin is either the biggest troll. And James, can you see us? We don't see you.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay.
I'm here.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
His picture. But Lane Kiffin, Yancey reported this. What is Kiffin doing? He could have gone 20 miles away to Batesville, Mississippi, to the airport there. Instead, he allowed, it looks like, Florida and LSU to fly their planes in to Oxford. And his ex-wife, they're not back together, according to Yancey. Okay. Layla Kiffin is his ex-wife. And one of his children went to Gainesville. And Chris Kiffin's wife, Lane's brother, who's on the staff at Ole Miss, and one or two of their kids went to Baton Rouge. Now, is Jimmy Sexton telling them to do that? I don't know. Is Lane Kiffin – remember, Lane Kiffin played footsie with Auburn back in 2022 and was very close to taking that job. until he didn't. And what happened was the Grove Collective was a small group. It's now over 15,000 members. Now, Loren said a couple of weeks ago on the Lowdown with Loren Meadows, the Gator Collective has less than 1,000 members. James, you know about the Red Elephant Club at Alabama, the kind and benevolent and protective order. And they are kindly people concerned with the well-being of student athletes. Started in 1958 when Coach Bryant came back from Texas A&M. Auburn had just won a national championship, and their motto was never again. And that was never. I got a lot of friends that are in the Red Elephant Club. They're great guys. Boy, they love Alabama, and they'll give their last penny and 5 pints of blood to keep Alabama on top. James,
well, they're trying to work on getting the basketball stadium right now, and that's still being discussed in conversation. Although to my point, they need it because Coleman Coliseum's a dump.
It's beautiful.
No, it's a dump. It's a dump.
Let me stop you. Let me stop you for just. Let me stop you for just a minute, okay? We were talking about Chris Kiffin a moment ago, and while you guys were talking, I decided to do a little bit of research, and apparently, back in 2016, Chris Kiffin was at Ole Miss at the time, and Ole Miss had
Freeze is the head coach.
But there was some recruiting violations, and according to this story that I'm reading, Chris Kiffin was involved in and was responsible for 3 of the recruiting violations. So I wonder if that's the thing about Mississippi State, if that's what happened with that as well. I don't know, but I mean,
that's exactly what it was.
Do you ever watch The Office? You guys ever watch that show?
Yes.
No, I don't. I want to.
Well, my favorite scene in The Office is when Michael wants to get somebody fired, and the boss says, "We can't fire him without cause," and Michael says, "Well, it's because I hate him." Like that's what that show clause was. He didn't like Chris Kiffin, and so he found some excuse to get rid of him for a time. Like that to me is what show cause was. It is because I don't like you. Like that's all that is to me.
Yeah.
And listen, this I'm not gonna lie to you, it's exhausting. And I'm not even directly involved in the Lane Kiffin drama right now. But I go back to what we talked about earlier, Animal. If I'm the AD at Ole Miss and I sit there and tell you publicly that he's going to make a decision after the Egg Bowl, which first of all, I don't think is going to happen because they're going to end up in the college football playoff regardless, unless they somehow lose this week, but I don't see that happening. So they get in the college football playoff. The last thing you want if you're Ole Miss is to have your coach come out before the college football playoff and you start this run toward a national title is to sit there and say, oh, by the way, coach isn't coming back. Now, I know it's happened before. I just don't like the timing of it. And I think there'll be another statement after the game Friday of, okay, he's going to make a decision, but since we made the playoff, we're going to kind of wait on it. So, and that's, again, it's a smart decision to do. Now, if things go badly this week for Ole Miss and they somehow lose against Mississippi State somehow, then
and
at
it's
that
possible.
point, I mean, it's not impossible. You play it. That's why you play the game, right? You never know. Any given Friday, Saturday, Sunday, whatever it is, any team can win anytime. We've seen it before. We'll see it again. But that's I don't like the timing of this. I don't like the fact that the AD is coming out and saying, oh, he's gonna let you know what his decision is on this date. I don't like the fact that there's just so much back and forth between, oh, well, LSU's going to do it. No, Florida's going to do it. Well, Ole Miss is saying now that they're going to match whatever anybody else tries to do. It's just there's so much going on with it. I think I'm with Loren. Loren said it best. He goes, if it stays, he wouldn't surprise me. If he goes to Florida, it wouldn't surprise me. But I think you don't go to LSU. That's the biggest thing to me. I don't want to deal with the governor. I don't want to deal with the drama of that program right now. I think Florida, surprisingly, has less drama than LSU does right now. And that's saying a lot.
Yeah.
I think he's right. And I think he's right about that. I mean, granted, LSU is the one that's making a lot of noise, putting it out there that they're putting a $90 million offer plus $25 million for NIL, but Florida's not saying anything. They're being quiet. Ronnie, I'm beginning to wonder maybe Florida's not doing this right. For change.
I had a coach call me anonymously a week ago Saturday, so that would be November 15th. And he's the one who gave me the story, I guess it was a month ago, about Kiffin, 6 for 81, 13.5 million guaranteed for 6 years, 81 million. The last one was 10 years, 150 million guaranteed. My wife was listening to that conversation. She has to listen to a lot of this stuff when we're in my truck driving all over the place. And she said, I'll say yes for you, but you are not saying no and being married to me. I was like, yeah, you can't say no to that. So look, let's get the legal definition and try to put it in the vernacular of show cause. It's a legal or professional term that requires a person or entity to provide a reason or, quote, show cause, end quote, for a specific action or inaction. In a court of law, an order to show cause is a judge's order demanding a party justify why a court should or should not take a particular action, often in urgent situations. In an employment context, and this is where we're really going to get into this, a show cause letter is a formal notice from an employer to an employee alleging misconduct or poor performance and requiring the employee to provide a response before disciplinary action is taken.
That's interesting.
Okay. So,
yeah.
And so purpose, it gives a party an opportunity to respond to allegations. That's what it does. All right.
Yeah.
And so what we, I sound like the movie Cool Hand Luke. What we have here is a failure to communicate. So
exactly.
And by the way, one of the greatest defensive coordinators in the history of college football. I mean, I'm talking Mount Rushmore good. Jeremy Pruitt has been allowed now to be an analyst. And my wife is Evolve for Life. I mean, I'm an Auburn grad. I love Pruitt. I think the guy is an absolute badass defensive coordinator, an incredible recruiter. He got to Tennessee. I don't know how you would react if Phil Fulmer's office was 12 feet down the hall from you. The former coach, one other than General Nealon, the winningest coach there, and he's running up and down the hall, in your business. I mean, it drove Pruitt crazy. He's from Fife, Alabama, Sand Mountain, people. You know anything about Sand Mountain in Fife, Alabama? You'll get your ass whipped over there for looking at somebody wrong or snoring in public.
So, fun story. My
guy.
friend is my friend Adam is the play-by-play guy for Fife High School football. So I know that area very well.
Yeah.
Very well.
And so James, I think he's a hell. Somebody needs to get Pruitt. I'm telling you, maybe it didn't work out as a head coach at Tennessee. He likes McDonald's bags, whatever. The guy's the best defensive coordinator alive in America today at adapting and reacting in real time. He doesn't have to wait till halftime. He is a special talent. Somebody needs to hire that guy. Jeremy Pruitt.
Hey guys, if you can see what's on my screen right now, this is from X, through the LSU report. All right, they're saying now the Missouri head coach Eli Drinkowitz is a favorite to replace Billy Napier of Florida.
I wouldn't hate that. I wouldn't hate that.
No.
A part of me would
that's not my point.
But
Wait a minute.
I wouldn't hate it.
Wait a minute. That's not my point. It's the person that posted this was from LSU Football Report. LSU. Okay, this is not just a. I mean, if it was another media outlet, I would have more credence to it. But this is from LSU Football Report, which tells me they're trying to shift the blame, deflect the attention from Lane Kiffin. So I find that to be interesting. But no, I would not. I would love for Eli Drinkowitz to be the new head coach. I will tell you the name of Lincoln Riley now is starting to come up in conversation.
Oh no. Stay away from him.
I don't.
Nope.
I would stay away from him too.
Leave that man in California.
Yeah.
You don't want Lincoln Riley, bro.
No, I don't think so either. What are you hearing?
I had a conversation Friday and Monday. Dave Bartu, College Football Matrix, was on our show, and you saw the show yesterday, James. And Dave knows he's in the college coach search business for college and NFL teams. He has a lot of clients out there. I'm going to guess Eli Drinkowitz is the leading candidate right now, for what that's worth, to be the next coach at Florida. Eli,
I would love it.
Eli's got a hell of a staff. He's from Alma, Arkansas, Fort Smith, basically. He's pretty close to Gus Malzahn. He was at Auburn briefly. He knows the Southeastern Conference. But that guy, look, what you've got to do at Florida is you've got to start going to the money people. I don't think Florida even touches the money that's down there. But I will say this. Nick Saban got to Alabama. He said, it's my way or the highway. Get out of my way. All you mothballed old has-beens and creatures, get out of my way. I'm running the show. And if y'all don't like that, my ass is staying in Miami. And they acquiesced and capitulated. And it worked out pretty damn well. You got to, at Florida, if you bring in Eli, you got to let him do it his way. But he has got, remember, everyone talks about Walmart. Yes, they're in Bentonville, Arkansas, barely you could throw a rock and hit Missouri. Now, they give money to the academics at Arkansas. I talked about this morning. They gave $500 million to the last capital campaign at Arkansas. Okay, but they don't give to athletics much. They do to Missouri. But you know what else Eli Drinkowitz has done? He's courted the Kroenke family. Y'all have heard of them from Denver.
Yeah.
God, they're loaded. And
I know.
Eli, Florida's got 500,000 living alumni. Shane Matthews put this brilliant dissertation together on his show. Pot Up with Shane Matthews. Great show.
Yes, it is.
Pay attention. The Ole Miss has about 167,000 living alumni. Florida doesn't even scratch the surface of their money. One of the problems Florida has is so many transients. People from all over the country, mainly the East Coast, they're Penn State fans, they're Ohio State fans, they're Michigan fans that live in Florida. Try going down to Sarasota. You can't even get the SEC network down there, but they got the Big Ten network on local cable.
Yeah.
Pay attention. Florida doesn't have near the money that they should have. They should be knocking on doors. Alabama, man, you've got it's not the richest state, but the money in the state of Alabama goes to Auburn and Alabama, and it's pretty evenly divided. Look at, James, Gary Nell Drummond, Drummond Cole and Jasper, and then there's Babs Anderson at Auburn. She's in the Oaks Society. That's one of Gary Nell Drummond's daughters. See, they're half and half Auburn and Alabama. It's that way. Florida has to compete with Florida State, with Miami, with Florida International, Florida Atlantic, UCF, USF, the state legislature. It ain't like it used to be. Florida is got to be more aggressive, and they've got to come out swinging, James. You were at Alabama when Saban was there. You saw how he ran things, didn't you?
Yep.
You there?
One of the things that I'm really interested is the news that came out yesterday. Mike Norvell, the FSU has announced that Mike Norvell is going to stay at Florida State for 2026. Is this more of they have confidence in Norvell and his ability to do?
No, they don't have enough money to fire him.
Or is that? Yeah, exactly.
James, answer that one.
No, if they could have bought out last year, they would have. They went this year, beat Alabama. They thought, oh man, the savior's back. Nope, right back to irrelevance again. Like that is the rise and fall of college football. And I'm telling you, I think where things went south for Mike Norvell is when they didn't make the college football playoff. I'm telling you, you can look at one moment in a coaching career, right? Your Nick Saban moment was losing to Louisiana Monroe his first year. You lost to Louisiana Monroe. How do you handle that? You bounce back the next year. You win the SEC championship. You win the national championship. You go through just all of these years of winning, right? Mike Norvell has an undefeated ACC season, doesn't get in the college football playoff, and he handled it horribly. The team handled it horribly. They did not recruit well. They have players who are just mid-level talent. They're not the upper echelon of college football. And so when I read something like, oh, Mike Norvell is staying, well, of course he's staying because first of all, they have nobody else who's going to want to go in there right now. It's kind of a weird, similar situation to Florida, except for the only difference is Florida was able to get rid of Billy Napier because of money. But Florida State can't afford to get rid of Mike Norvell right now, to Rob's point. So it's really weird, the state of athletics for two should be two top programs in college football. It's so weird. It is so weird to see. Like, I grew up watching the sport. I love college football. I've watched it my whole life. And the teams that dominated when I was going in my teen years, watching Tebow and all these guys, like seeing the domination. I think you brought it up earlier. The winningest program was Florida from 89 to 2009. Like, that is an insane run for Florida to have in football. But Florida State was right there for a part of it. They had great teams. They had great coaching. They had players. They had Dalvin Cook. They had Jameis Winston. They had the list goes on and on of all of these top-level guys, and now both have literally been involved in the fastest free fall since the Depression. I mean, just absolutely insane to me. But yeah, it's money. Yeah, it always is.
Yeah, and I look at it all, and I say to myself, of course he's going to stay. Why even put out a statement like that? You can't afford to fire him, have that large buyout, and then bring in somebody else. I mean, look at LSU and the way they're doing things with they fired Brian Kelly. He's involved in a lawsuit now. Kelly is bitching and moaning, saying that, I can't get a job because they don't want to give me my buyout. I mean, it's like, okay, well, you're the one that caused all this, okay? So, and LSU thinking that they can bring on a guy with a $90 million contract. I mean, it boggles my mind to think, where are they getting all this money from?
Donors. They got money. They got money. Listen, don't let it fool you. They have way more money than they let on. And it may be, I don't want to say it's under the table, but it's about as close to under the table as you're going to get, in my opinion. All these programs have it. They have these anonymous donors that slide money in when it needs to be given. I truly believe that. I think Alabama has the same thing. I think they have. Florida does too.
I think Florida does too. I think Florida does too. I just don't think that everybody's be opening their mouths about it. I think Florida's really doing it right. Ron, you're the man that knows it all in terms of college football. We've been talking about Florida. We've been talking a little bit about LSU. Give us some insight into other coaches that we're going to be hearing about here shortly, other jobs around college football.
Well, I mean, Stoops is saying he's staying at Kentucky. He's daring them to fire him because he knows they can't afford to pay the buyout. So Mark Stoops will still be at Kentucky. I think at Vanderbilt, Clark Lee is going to get a big, massive new contract. Now, they don't have to reveal that because they're a private school. But looking around the SEC, Arkansas, maybe they hire Alex Golesh. I was in Little Rock last Wednesday and Thursday, met with a big Arkansas guy, the most connected guy I know up there. They're like, who's going to be our new coach? They don't know. But I think y'all would both agree, Hunter Yurachek, the athletic director, has no business being on the college football playoff committee other than to stroke his ego.
No. Yeah.
He needs to be finding a damn football coach. Now,
Dave
Bartu said on our show, College Football Matrix, last few days that at least three of these 4 SEC jobs have already been filled. They're done deals. And he said, nothing gets out. Nothing leaks. Nothing leaks. He goes, I've been involved in a lot of these searches. Keep this in mind. The only way something gets out is if an agent, like Jimmy Sexton, goes to somebody in the media and says, I want you to put this out there. It's all a game of deception. Yeah, Bodyguard of Lies. Read the book, the 2 books, Bodyguard of Lies. It's the greatest series of books, treatise, on how the United States and our allies deceived the Germans at Normandy, Omaha Beach, Utah, and Sword Beach, 6 June 1944. I mean, we fooled them so bad. Rommel was back in Berlin with his wife celebrating her birthday or whatever at dinner. That's what goes on in these coaches searches. Nobody knows a damn thing. It's all speculation on the speculation. So Auburn, I think it's going to be John Sumrall. I think that's very likely going to happen. Florida, man, Eli Drinkwitz, I think. Kentucky, LSU, they think they're getting Kiffin. So does Florida. And Ole Miss thinks he's staying. But right now, Yancey Porter said, I feel 75% likely he's leaving. So go down the list. Mississippi State, Levy's safe right now.
Levy's safe.
Yeah, he's fine. Missouri, Eli, probably to Florida. Oklahoma, Brent Venables, he ain't going anywhere.
No.
All right. South Carolina, Shane Beamer, it's South Carolina. I mean, other than
I would love, I love Shane Beamer.
I do too.
And I hope I hope the South Carolina keeps him for a long time. I mean, that's one guy I would love to see come to Florida. I know he has a Florida connection. I think Shane would be great for Florida.
I think he's great. I mean, I think he's a good coach.
But I think
South Carolina's limited.
I think, really and honestly, I think he wants the Virginia Tech job.
Well, it's already been taken by James Franklin.
Yeah, I know.
You're right.
But I think he wanted that job,
Yeah, he did. Tennessee, Heupel's fine. Texas, Sark. I think there was pressure to push Quinn Ewers out. He could have come back and play Arch Manning. And you replaced 4 starters on the offensive line. You needed that experienced veteran quarterback. Although I think Ewers missed 4 or 5 games over the 2 years he started. He's pretty injury prone. So Sark may bolt for the NFL. He underachieves the talent. Wherever he is, he underachieves the talent 2 or 3 times a year. That's a Dave Bartuism, and it's true. Texas A&M, look, they ain't doing anything with Mike Elko.
No.
We're all going to be wearing white jumpsuits like those cheerleaders trying to do all those cheers when they win the SEC, if they do.
Did
Vanderbilt.
Elko, wait. Before we go to Vanderbilt. Didn't Elko recently sign a new extension recently?
Probably. I don't know specifically, but it's year 2. And, we got a coach, Lane Kiffin. His only conference championships as a coach were with the Owls at Florida Atlantic Conference. USA. Now, his record at Ole Miss versus ranked teams is 10-10. If you look at the great coaches like Coach Bryant at Alabama, I think his record against the national teams that were ranked Alabama playing Nebraska or Southern Cal or Penn State, it was like 500. Keep that in mind. It's about 500. Lane Kiffin is a hot coach right now, and I think he's testing the waters. But then there's a theory. James, are you there? James is back in the witness protection program.
Okay.
No, I'm here.
Okay.
I'm here. I'm in the anonymous program.
Okay. I think what's going on with Kiffin at Ole Miss is Ole Miss people are saying this. There's one theory among people in Oxford. He's just trying to prove that Ole Miss is a blue blood like all these schools that are pursuing him.
Yeah.
And he's just putting Ole Miss's name out there, having a laugh. Now, why are you going to have a press conference to say your coach is leaving after the Egg Bowl? No one does that. When a coach leaves, he just leaves and he's gone. If a coach is staying, maybe he says, look, just wanted to say, it's nice to be wanted. But after considering everything and what all we've done here at Ole Miss, I I am happy at Ole Miss, and I'm going to stay at Ole Miss. And I can't help what people want to speculate on, but you don't have press conferences to announce your coach is leaving. Just remember that. And Ole Miss is going to do that. So all these schools, see, because of NIL and the portal, you think everyone wants to come to your school and it's just going to be some deal. It doesn't work that way. But we don't have press conferences to announce that our coach is leaving. That's just not what. But I've got to go and be on Lauren's show. But I'll tell you what, this is fun.
Oh yeah, that's right.
James.
Yeah.
I just curious, James. Did you heard what I just said about it? Would you have a press conference to say our coach is staying? I mean, our coach is leaving. You might say he's staying, but what do you think about that take?
I think it's silly. I'm just going to be downright honest with you. I think it's silly. I think you don't need to do it. I think there's no reason to do it. If you're going to stay, just say you're staying. If you're not, then say you're going at the end of the season and call it a day. But here's the thing. I know he announced that they're going to have this press conference after the Egg Bowl. I don't think it's going to happen. I truly don't. I think if they win this game, they're in a good spot for the college football playoff, something you haven't done. You don't need any distractions. You need focus because chances are, unless Alabama beats Texas A&M in the SEC championship, which, by the way, don't sleep on them because in big games they show up. I don't know why it is. Against Georgia they did it. Tennessee they did it.
Yeah.
They have the ability to win. So I'm not sleeping on them. I think Texas A&M is the better team, but don't sleep on Alabama in the SEC title game. If they make it there, they beat Auburn. So I think, again, if for some reason they make the college football playoff, which they should, then there's no reason to add more distraction than there already is if I'm Lane Kiffin. Now, that's the common sense theory. However, with the AD coming out and saying, well, and that's what I'm saying. The AD came out and said, well, we're going to have a press conference. Why? Like, there's absolutely no need for that. Like, there's none. If you're leaving, leave. If you're staying, stay. That's simple as that.
Hang on. Correct. An Alabama person and common sense, there's got to be something wrong with it.
Well, we've won so much that I've developed common sense over the years.
There you go. I know.
Alabama gets near Atlanta, it's over.
It's over.
I mean, watching Alabama play at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, if you've ever been to the zoo and watched a boa constrictor eat, that's what it's like. Mm-hmm. Okay. I mean, I know them. I've got a lot of, my oldest daughter went there, and I got a lot of friends, Alabama. I got as many Alabama as I do Auburn. I'm just telling you, you're right. Iron Bowl, the better team wins 95% of the time in that game. Okay. They got
some voodoo going on, bro. I'm telling you, there's voodoo in that
Jordan Hare Stadium has been like a crypt lately.
It's
evil. The last two Iron Bowls, in the last minute, Auburn had the game won, and they snatched defeat from the jaws of victory. I mean, and so I don't know the mental state of that football team, but I have nightmares still. My therapist and I have been working through it. Gravedigger, 4th and 31, because I woke up that morning on a mixed text of half Auburn, half Bama friends. And I said, Auburn's going to win the game today, 27-24. I'm like, Brown, are you smoking crack? I said, no. I said, it's going to happen. And I was looking like a double knot spy, Jethro Bodine genius until I wasn't. Hey, let me say, happy Thanksgiving. Thanks for letting me come on here.
Hey, happy? Yeah, and the next show we'll be back on a regular spot next Thursday.
Yeah, okay.
So
a week from Thursday.
Yeah.
I'll be there.
Great.
Get this guy back on there too. He's awesome.
I know. I love James. He's awesome. Fantastic.
And
he is fantastic.
But this is fun. This is a hell of a lot of fun. So thank y'all for having me. And just, you know what? The speculation, like Dave Bartu says, 99% of what you see on social media is BS. Except unless we post it. That's all I'm going to say.
There you go. All right, Rob, thank you so very much. Rob Browne of SEC. I love him.
He's funny. He's awesome.
Man. He is fantastic. Well, enough of the college thing. Another thing that James and I have in common are the boys right here. The Peter Powell boys. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you've heard of them guys, I think, They traveled to the West Coast to take on the LA Rams. 34-7 was the final score. It was a disaster. It was. We talk about with the Florida Gators. We'll refer to the Bucs as well. It was an abomination. What made things worse during the course of the game was the fact that um, Baker Mayfield got injured during the course of the game. He went out. Teddy Bridgewater took over for the rest of the game. Abomination in itself. Just a total lack of performance on this game. It was horrible, and several questions come out. Number one, will Baker be fine? Number two, can this defense revive itself? But I think the biggest question needs to be asked: is Todd Bowles the man to direct this? Is Todd Bowles the man direct this team? I mean, this is a guy that's supposedly the defensive coordinator and they have just fallen. I love Todd Bowles. I love, the guy's doing great, but facts are facts, and you can't dismiss them. This defense has been playing very poorly the last few weeks.
Yeah, poorly is a word. I would say lackadaisical. That's another word.
Yes.
That's a big word. To be honest with you, and I'm just going to shoot straight with you. I hate to say this, Levante David needs to retire. I love Levante David, but he's a step slow. I think Father Time, unfortunately, defeats all of us at some point. And I love Levante. I think he's one of the greatest Bucs of all time. I really do. I believe that. And that's not to say that he's not still a good player, because he is. But I just think he's not in a good spot right now at linebacker. He can't do it.
No.
My biggest issue, and I will say this, I will give Peter Blake a little bit of credit here, because he said something on his show last night that really stuck out to me. And Animal, you know this too. There have been numerous coaches for the Buccaneers that have performed terribly, but they have not been fired until the end of the year. They do not fire coaches, the Glazers, in season. They don't. And that is a true fact. So I think, in answer to your question, Todd Bowles is going to be here and come hell or high water till the end of the year. Now, what happens after that?
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know what happens after that. But I will say, I watched that game in just amazement. There was no adjustment made from the defense at all. It was the same old. Pretty much every defensive player played like garbage, including Vita Vea, except for Yaya Diaby, who had a career game.
Diaby had a great game. I love Yaya.
The offense looks terrible. They look boring. There's no
lethargic.
You get Godwin back, and he does absolutely nothing. Rashad White is not a running back. You're missing Bucky Irving. You're missing Mike Evans. Baker gets hurt, and now you know who was laughing at the Bucs on Monday night? Kyle Trask.
That's what I was saying. That's what I was saying. I mean,
was laughing all the way to the bank on Monday night at Teddy Bridgewater being the second starter. Unbelievable.
You think? Yeah. Well, and I posted that on X during the game. I said, you tend to wonder how is Kyle Trask. You tend to wonder you tend to wonder about Kyle Trask, and
he's laughing. He got beat out by Teddy Bridgewater, who's slow and can't even run the ball, and he can't throw it. He can't run it. So what in the world did this coaching staff see that makes me believe that Teddy Bridgewater's the second man? Nothing.
No. But let's be fair about this, and that Trask was injured. He had a bad shoulder. I think he had a bad shoulder. And I don't. If the Bucs were looking, I think for the Buccaneers, they had to weigh their options with Trask. And
this same team had Trask for the last 5 years.
I understand that.
5 years.
But with his shoulder injury and everything, I don't think the team wanted to take a chance. Now, having said that,
I disagree with that.
Okay, having said that, I think that they they see the Teddy Bridgewater thing, and they're saying to themselves, "Why in the hell did we get rid of Kyle Trask? Why in the hell did we even decide to do that?" You know.
And let's look at it this way too. I'm not saying that Kyle Trask is like the greatest thing ever and he would have saved the team. I think anybody in that position Monday night was going to lose. It didn't matter who was at quarterback. Baker Mayfield had his worst game that I've ever seen as a Buck. He hasn't played that badly since he was in Cleveland. He played well with Carolina, he played well with the Rams, and then he came here and started playing well. He had a horrible game, and you got to give credit to the Rams. They look like
the Rams.
They look like a Super Bowl winner right now. That defense is crazy.
Oh yes, I mean it was like and Pika Nakua. I mean that guy for the Rams is just
well. Devontae Adams is like
unbelievable.
What is he like 50 now? Like that dude is crazy good still.
I know.
And listen, Matthew Stafford. There's a lot of people out there who think Matthew Stafford could be MVP, and I'm starting to lean to agree with them because I didn't see anything on Monday night that made me think otherwise. And here's where I have a problem with this Bucs team. And I talked about it last week. I'll bring it up again. This is what happens when you have good coaching versus bad coaching. You have great coaches in Sean McVay and Mike Vrabel. And the list goes on because the Bucs are now 6-5, and thankfully they're still in first because Carolina couldn't get out of their own way last night against the 49ers. Mm-hmm. But even though, by the way, the 49ers tried to lose that game. I'm going to tell you right now. I don't know if you watched it, but they tried everything to lose that game to Carolina, and somehow they pulled it out. But the thing is, and this is what I have a problem with, you did nothing to adjust offensively. You did nothing to adjust defensively. Your special teams was horrible as usual. And this is and everybody's like, oh, well, we have an easy rest of the schedule. What schedule are you looking at? Because you still have to play Carolina twice, who, yes, did not look good yesterday, but we're on a roll before that. You still have to play Atlanta again, who is always like this. You never know what you're going to get. The Saints are always sticky. Arizona, you've still got Kyler Murray, and you've still got Marvin Harrison Jr. If you can't stop old man Devontae Adams, how are you going to stop Marvin Harrison Jr.? Like, that's I'm telling you, people think, oh, well, the rest of the schedule is easy from here. It's not. It's not. It's football. And here's the thing. If you want to go to the playoffs and you want to win in the playoffs, you have to beat good teams. And Todd Bowles does not beat good teams. And everyone's like, oh, well, we won the NFC South all these years in a row. Give me a break. This division is god-awful. It is awful. I don't care what anybody says. The division is terrible. We're not the best either. Brady left and things got okay. But I'm for everybody out there who's a Bucs fan that genuinely thinks that the Bucs are just going to coast through the rest of the schedule and win the division and host a first-round playoff matchup, you've got another thing coming because there is not one thing that this coaching staff, the defensive coordinator, Todd Bowles, the head coach, the offensive coordinator, there is not one thing that this coaching staff has shown me that shows that the Bucs can win. None.
That's right. Yeah.
Zero.
And Pika Nakua, 7 catches, 97 yards. Devontae Adams, 5 for 62, 2 touchdowns. Colby Parkinson caught the other touchdown on the day. Emeka Egbuka, top receiver on the day, 3 catches, 32 yards. And Levante, and we talked about Levante Day, we'll get to him in just a second. He co-led the team in tackles with 8, 4 solos, and 1 tackle for loss. So, you say what you will, but and look, Levante looks slow out there. He really did. I mean, I'm watching. I'm like, oh God, I feel sorry for this guy. Granted, they're hurting. They've been hurt by the injury bug. But what would tell you tonight is this: that number 1, Bucky Irving is expected to be back this week. Baker Mayfield we find out has a low low sprained shoulder injury. Okay,
on his left shoulder. It's his non-throwing shoulder. So
it's not throwing shoulder, but they say that he's going to play in the game this Sunday. Thank goodness. So and Chris Godwin, of course he was back. I'm willing to give Chris Godwin a break, slowly but surely getting back into it, and I'm not sure Godwin has 100% mindset that he's good to go. I think he had some reservations about that knee,
Well, he's been hurt so often over the last couple of years. How could you? I mean, go through a crazy,
I don't blame him.
I mean, you got a crazy injury 2 years ago, and then you come off the knee this year. I mean, it's like, dude, am I playing to not get hurt, or am I playing to be dominant?
Yeah,
and that's the problem. And then one other thing I do want to bring up, because I know Todd Bowles said it, I'm sure you're going to bring it up, but I want to bring it to your attention. Todd Bowles had said Mike Evans, Elijah Cansey, and Jalen McMillan possibly could play before the end of the regular season.
That was my next,
which I think you don't need to do that. You don't need to do it. And I'm not saying that to say that they can't win without those three. I'm saying that to say you do not want to rush any process of those injuries that those guys have had. Like, I understand wanting to win, and if the division comes down to the last day, I get it. It would be a game changer to have Elijah Cansey back. It would be great to have Mike Evans back. But I think unless they are fully 100% ready to go back on that field, you don't rush that. Because chances are
I agree.
Chances are if the Bucs hold on and they win the division, you're going to get a home game. If things go the way we hope they do, then at that point in the first round, yes, I could see it. But if there's like 2 weeks left and you've got the division, I don't want Baker playing. I don't want Godwin playing. I don't want Bucky Irving playing. Put Teddy Bridgewater in the last 2 weeks. If they already lock up the division, don't put any starters in. Take them out. You don't need any more injuries going into that playoff game if things go the way that we hope they do.
Here's the way their schedule lines up. They have the Cardinals this Sunday, Ray J. Then they have the Saints, Falcons. That is going to be a Thursday night game on Prime. They're at the Panthers. They will be at the Dolphins. Then they're at home against the Panthers to wrap up the 2018 or 2000. I don't know what I said. 2025 regular season, and that's the way the schedule is going to finish up here. As we close it out with you, is there any hope for this team?
I really so badly. I want to say yes. I really do, because I still believe that this team has talent. It's not like a Gators situation where there's lame ducks, to Lauren's point.
There's one more game.
There's one more game. That's right. So my thing is it too late for them to turn it around? No, I think they have a good chance. While the schedule is not definite as far as winning and losing, I think they have some games that are favorable matchups. I will say that.
I think there's a lot of games that are favorable. I think they could handle Arizona. I think they could handle Atlanta, New Orleans, maybe Miami. Miami might be a tough game. I mean, they're playing. I think Miami might give them some.
It could, and they gave Buffalo problems, and I think Mike McDaniel's on his way out. So that's kind of one of those games where I look at it and go, okay, well, what Miami team is going to show up? Is it going to be the Miami team that's played the last few weeks, or is it the Miami team that just beat the Buffalo Bills, by the way, handedly, just a couple of weeks ago? So that's kind of a wild card game, if you will, out of all that. But listen, I think it starts, if you're going to make a statement and say we're not done, I truly believe that if you're going to make a statement, it starts this week against Arizona. Like, you've got to win this game. This is probably as close to a must-win as I've ever seen for the Buccaneers this week. So,
back to the Gators for just a second. I'll give Scotty Luce, who is board man for High Top Sports. He posted something, I'm going to read it. He says, ironically, I, as a Gator fan, ain't even mad about our blowout loss to Tennessee because while we was at one of our worst seasons, eliminated from the playoff and bowl eligibility, this was a diehard need-to-win game where Tennessee had to end the streak. If they didn't, everyone would be questioning when. That's a great point, and Scotty makes a great point about that. That is a fair point. I think Tennessee came in with the determination that they wanted to end that streak at home against the Florida Gators, and kudos to them. They did it. They did it as only as they could. So, but thank God we just have one more game left for this, and then we can focus on the thing. Hang on. Go ahead. Okay, you're not on.
Wait, I'm muted. There we go. Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I was saying I'm very interested in this matchup, Florida State. I think both teams are just they're so bad, and it's going to be like who's going to be worse. Like I think that's really what this is, and I don't recall.
Reminds me of the 1983 Reapers Bowl when the the worst teams, the Houston Oilers and Tampa Bay Bucs, played a Ray J back in 1983. I mean, that's what this is like.
Yeah, it's like who's going to suck less. I think that's probably what we're looking at. I mean, I don't know.
Give me some. You probably will know this. I think Ron will know this too. As far as what happens with the timeline for the Gators, obviously this Friday we're going to know, or Saturday we'll know where Lane is going to go. You don't think it's going to happen? I'm
on the fence about it.
I tell you, let me give you my prediction. What happens here? I think the announcement comes down on Saturday. I think they announced that Lane Kiffin is staying at Ole Miss. I think Ole Miss signs him to the contract. Okay. I think it's based on large part of a couple of things. Number one, the meeting that they had in which they said that Florida would say, I'm choosing the GM, you're not. I think that rubbed Lane Kiffin the wrong way. And I think he makes that decision be known. Now, as far as Florida goes, once that decision is made, I think it's going to either be John Summerall or it could possibly be Eli Drinkowitz. I think Eli would be in the mix. But keep your eye on one other guy, okay? And you're going to call me crazy, and I know you've said that about me before, and you're going to say it again. Kerwin Bell out of Western Carolina. Yes, they just signed Kerwin to a new 5-year contract. It's not a high amount. I think the buyout is something that the Florida Gators could actually afford. Keep in mind, Kerwin Bell, former Gator, back in the 80s and 90s, very popular. I think that for the Gators, I think that could be probably their best option at this point. I don't think Billy Gonzalez is going to be anywhere near the Florida Gator program. Kind of wish he was because he's done a great job with the receivers, but we're going to see how it all plays out,
If we're talking about guys who I think are long shots at this point, I'm telling you, if I'm the Gators and this Lane Kiffin thing doesn't work out, I'm making a call to Dabo. I really am. I'm making a call to Dabo Sweeney. He's an SEC guy. He knows what it takes to win in the SEC. I think he's great at rebuilding programs. He did it in Clemson. I'm telling you, I think if I'm Steve Strickland, I at least make the conversation because things aren't going well at Clemson. So now would be as good a time as any for Debo to get out. So I'm just saying, if we're talking long shots, and that's not been reported anywhere, nobody's talked about it. But if I'm Strickland, I at least make a phone call and say, hey, what would you think about this? And how could it look? And if I'm Florida and he's willing to talk, I'm willing to listen. He's a national championship coach. He's built a program from the bottom up. He's an SEC guy, played in the SEC, coached in the SEC. I mean, it checks a lot of boxes. To Lauren's point earlier of being a football guy, you can't get much better than that.
And what would be better if it was Scott Strickland calling him and not Steve Strickland. So that's how.
Scott. Yeah, sorry, not Steve.
No, it's good. I'm just. Hey, you wanna comment on the games that we have coming up this weekend?
Yeah, let's do it.
Stick around for that. All right,
Yeah.
let's do our annual trip around the world of college and professional football. We start on Thanksgiving Day, the Egg Bowl on Friday. Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Utah, Kansas, Georgia versus Georgia Tech. Indiana, number 2, will be playing against Purdue. And then, I have to miss this game because I'm working on Friday night. Texas A&M against Texas in Texas, Arizona.
That's going to be a good one. Listen, Texas wins, they get in. I'm telling you right now, with 3 losses, Texas beats A&M, they're in the college football playoff. I truly think that's the only way that Texas has a chance to get in with 3 losses. I think A&M is stacked, so they're probably going to win it. But I think if Texas finds a way, I don't see how you keep them out. I really don't.
It's Saturday. It's rivalry weekend. Ohio State at Michigan. You know that Michigan has won I think it's been like 2. When was the last time Ohio State beat Michigan? I don't know.
It was a while back. Yeah, Michigan's been on a roll lately.
Okay, let's see here. Well, let me do this real quick.
Michigan, by the way, has an outside chance at the tournament too.
Okay, hang on here. Last time Ohio State beat Michigan. 2020. Okay, it does. Oh darn. Let's see here.
I'll look it up. I'm watching the SEC championship for Kentucky and Texas volleyball right now, and they're in the 5th set. It's been kind of wild.
Oh, okay. Oh wow. Okay. Let's see. Ohio State at Michigan, Texas. Look that up for me real quick. Miami will be at Pittsburgh, Houston at Baylor, Central Florida BYU, Oregon versus Washington, LSU at Oklahoma, Vanderbilt will be at Tennessee, Missouri at Arkansas, Alabama will be at Auburn, one of the greatest football games. I believe that game will be on the SEC network that night. UCLA beat USC, Notre Dame, Stanford. Of course, you have Florida versus Florida State. Of course, that game will be on ESPN. That would be a 4:30 Eastern, 3:30 Central. Let's see our games as far as the NFL and what we have the NFL. Thursday night, Buffalo at Houston. Oh no, wait a minute, no.
So the last time that Ohio State beat Michigan was the 2019-2020 season. They won in Michigan. It was 56-27. The last 5 times, well, one of those was canceled. The COVID year was canceled. But the last 4 times Michigan has won. And the closest being last year, which was 13-10.
And look, yes, and that was when they had that brawl after the game. I'm going to tell you something. I think Michigan has a good shot to beat Ohio State. I like Michigan. I mean, I
think it's going to come down to. I don't know if they beat Ohio State. I still think Indiana is going to get their chance to play Ohio State in the Big 10 title or the Big 12 title game. Or the Big 10. I can't remember which one it is. But they're going to get a chance to play Indiana, which I want to see. So the college football fan in me doesn't want to see them lose this weekend because I want to see that number 1 versus number 2 matchup. And I want to see if Indiana's for real. That's what I really want to see it for. Can Indiana hang with Ohio State? Can they hang with A&M? Can they hang with Oregon and all these other teams? So
great point.
I want to see that. I want to see Ohio State win simply because of the championship game that follows the following week.
Yeah, that's gonna be, and that could be Indiana versus I forget who would that be. We'll find out. Let's talk about the NFL games that we have going on Thursday. Obviously, Green Bay at Detroit. It's going to be a fantastic game. Kansas City at Dallas. Dallas wins. I think we'll eliminate Kansas City from the playoffs altogether.
That's insane. Well, they're getting Pacheco back, by the way, on Friday, who has not played. So they're going to get Pacheco back, and that's a big part of their offense. So Kansas City pulled out a big win, down 11 this week against and won that game. So we'll see what happens. But if they get Pacheco back, don't sleep on the Chiefs yet, because they're starting to get these guys healthy.
Right now, the line has KC minus 3.5 with over and under 52.5 points. The nighttime, the Bengals at Baltimore. Joe Burrow looks like he could be back for that game. We're going to find out.
Ravens
Friday,
win big.
Yeah, I think so. Friday, the Bears at Philadelphia, 2 p.m. on Prime Video.
What a game. What a game.
That could be the highlight. And I tell you what, if Caleb Williams, I'm calling it right now, if Caleb Williams comes out and just beats Philadelphia, you're going to see the next great quarterback.
Listen, I'll tell you this. Philadelphia's got a lot to play for. They just dropped against Dallas last week, up 21. So, hey.
How does that happen?
I don't know.
Seriously?
No idea.
You are a Super Bowl championship team, and you let a
Dak Prescott's the real deal. I feel like people sleep on Dak Prescott. He's a good quarterback. Just because he plays for the Cowboys, people hate him, but he's a solid quarterback. I'm telling you, Dak Prescott is still the man.
49ers at the Browns on Sunday. Jacksonville at Tennessee. How about the Jaguars, man? Does Liam Cohen have that team playing on the next level?
I don't think we're at the next level yet. I think he's starting to get into it. I think next year will probably be a better year for him, because I still think they're missing some pieces. But he's done well to get them back to relevancy.
If you get a chance, take a look at his post-game locker room post-game after Sunday's game.
I don't want to, because it's just going to remind me of how much I wish we would have fired Todd Bowles and kept him.
Oh yeah, I agree. I know.
This team would look completely different with Liam Cohen, but that's a whole.
But you know what? Though Liam Cohen burned some bridges there when he did. He didn't go out the right way. And I think Tampa fans are not going to forget that too soon. Let's see here. Houston at Indianapolis, Saints at Miami, Atlanta at New York, Arizona, Tampa Bay. We talked about that. The Rams at Carolina. That could be an interesting game. Minnesota will be Seattle, 4:00 game. Buffalo will be at Pittsburgh. That could be another interesting game to watch.
Well, if Aaron Rodgers plays, that'll be an interesting game. But he didn't play last week, and you saw what happened.
Yes. Oh, tell me about it. Vegas will be at the Rams for a 3:25 game. Denver will be at the Redskins for Sunday Night Football. The Monday night wraps it up. The Giants will be at New England. So, I mean, it's like, what?
Patriots by 30. Although, listen, Jameis Winston. If I'm the Giants, I'm taking a real look at Jameis. Listen, you know me. I'm not the biggest Jameis Winston guy.
No.
But that dude came out last Sunday and played his ass off. So, hey, I mean, he had over 300 yards passing. He caught a touchdown. Hey, if I'm the Giants, I'm taking a look at least. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I know the Giants are 2-10, but, they've been playing some respectable football. I mean, and I can't believe Washington's 3-8. I mean, I thought their record was better than that.
They had injuries. They had injuries, not as badly as we have, but they had injuries very early, and so they lost a lot of games just because they didn't have enough talent. That's just their depth is not very good.
In the NFC South, we have the Bucs at 6-5, the Panthers are 6-6, the Atlanta Falcons are 4-7. Okay, and for the Buccaneers, we've lost 3 in a row. I mean, I never thought I'd see the day when that would happen. Never.
Well, I did.
Never. Yeah.
I did. I even told you we were going to lose the game. I told you we were going to lose the Rams game. I told you the Buffalo game was going to be tough, but I didn't think we'd get, we'd win there. I thought it would be close, and it was to a degree. And then the Lions or the Patriots game. I've been 3-0 the last 3 weeks, and it's unfortunate, but I see the difference between, again, good coaching and bad coaching, and unfortunately injuries paired alongside bad coaching. That's what you get.
Give me your, as we wrap this up, give me your biggest prediction for what we see over the weekend in football, pro and college. Give me your biggest prediction, what you see happening this weekend.
I'll do one of both. I think I really believe this week in college is the best week of the year. It's rivalry week. You may see an upset. I'm telling you, I think somebody is due to be upset in the top 5 this week. I really do. Whether that's Ohio State losing to Michigan, whether that's Texas beating A&M. I think my biggest prediction in the top 5, there's going to be an upset somewhere. I don't know where, but it's going to be somewhere. Hopefully it's not Indiana. And then as far as the NFL goes, my biggest prediction is that I think the Bucs will find a way to win. I don't know if it'll be by much, but I think they find a way to get a W. I really do.
Yeah, and I think they need it, if anything, for confidence building, just to get their confidence back. But I mean,
by the way, real quick note: the SEC title game for volleyball just concluded. Texas had a 2-0 lead. Kentucky reverse swept.
Yes.
Won 3 in a row. Kentucky is your SEC champion.
SEC.
Crazy. Number 1 seed, by the way, went undefeated in the conference. They've only lost 3 games this year. Texas, to their point, has only lost 4 games now, but 2 teams that are going to probably make a run at a national title. So kudos to Kentucky. That was a fun game to watch. If you love volleyball, make sure you watch the tournament because it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, and I was watching a little bit of the Florida thing. That was disaster.
Florida's a good team. Florida has a good volleyball team. Don't sleep on them. They're going to probably go to the tournament as well. But hey, kudos to Kentucky, man. I watched them play in person here in Nashville against Nebraska, and they had Nebraska down 2-0. And all they had to do was win one more set. They would have beat Nebraska, but they ended up losing in 5. So it was good to see them be on the other side of history this time.
Speaking of Nebraska, their take on Iowa Friday, 11 o'clock. That game will be on. Let's see. What game would that be on? It doesn't say here. But, yeah, it'll be on CBS. Friday, 11 o'clock. So you might want to check that out as we get ready. I'm on next Thursday. Think you can join me?
We'll see. I think I have practice.
Oh, darn. Okay.
I practice Tuesday and Thursday at 7. So we have the later practice for some reason, which really sucks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But when I can, I will be back.
And we love it. I love having you here. And hopefully, if Tuesday works out better for you, might want to switch my show to a Tuesday.
It's the same time on Tuesday. So if you had another day, if you had Monday, Wednesday, or Friday, I'm in. Wednesday. You should do Wednesday because it's half full. Like it's half during the week. You're halfway through.
But yeah. You know what?
Just saying.
I never even thought about that.
I didn't either till just now.
In fact, somebody said I should do my show live at like a Buffalo Wild Wings or something.
That'll be fun.
What do you think?
That'll be fun.
What do you think?
Yeah,
should I try for it? Okay. Let me see what I can do about pulling it off, and I'll let you know what we'll keep in touch. Anything that before you go, anything that's happening with you that
not at the moment. Not doing much anything. I've been talking to Rob on and off about stuff, and Loren told me he was going to get me on a show at some point. That still hadn't happened, but we'll see.
He'll get you on.
But yeah, man, we're cruising around, getting ready for Thanksgiving, and I hope you all have a great Thanksgiving, Joe. I appreciate you as always having me on, letting me chat with you, and man, it's always a blast being here. So thank you.
You know,
sir. I
you know
appreciate
who
it.
we need. You know who we need to get. James, the other James, Brit Buck.
Dude, I have not talked to him in a long time. It has been a while.
I've not heard from him. I have no
Yeah, he
idea
kind of
what's
just
going
disappeared.
on.
I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I have
but-
no idea what happened to him. We got to get him back on sometime. Listen, man, it's been great. Thank you for joining me, and you have a happy Thanksgiving.
You as well, my friend. Peace.
All right, peace. That is James Luderman joining me on this edition of Half Full and Cup of Joe. So, let me go ahead and remove him. Kick from the studio. Let's see here. I'm not going to ever ban James. We'll never do that. Well, we've been on for an hour and 45 minutes. Had a great time. It's been great. Had a lot of conversation. Now, we've got a lot of things happening. Of course, the announcement's going to come down on Friday about Lane Kiffin. May try and do a show Saturday. Not yet, though, but we'll see what happens with that. But we'll be back at a regular time next Thursday, and we'll do another show for you. So for all of us at Half Full and Cup of Joe, and from the lovely one, we want to wish everybody that's watching, thank you for watching. Hal Jeffrey and B for Ben, thank you for the like button. If you're on Facebook, push that like button and let me know that you're watching this show. For everybody here, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next Thursday for another edition of Half Full and Cup of Joe. And I always like to say, despite everything that's happened, if you're not I've said this before and I'll say it again, if you're not a Gator, you're primed to be Gator bait. Thank you all very much. We'll be back next week. Have a good one. Happy Thanksgiving, and God bless.
Thanks for joining Joe Fulford on Half Full and a Cup of Joe. Don't forget to tune in next time for more football talk, analysis, and fun. Follow us on social media to stay up to date on all things Half Full and a Cup of Joe. And remember, always keep your cup half full and your team spirit full. See you next time.